The courtroom was silent, so silent you could hear the rain tapping against the windows. Everyone turned as the judge called, "Defense, please proceed." But the millionaire's lawyer's seat was empty. The man who'd charged thousands of dollars an hour had fled just moments before the verdict. Panic spread. Reporters whispered. The millionaire, trembling, looked defeated, and then, from the back of the courtroom, a man in a janitor's uniform stepped forward, holding a mop in one hand and courage in the other. No one could have guessed that this humble single dad would become the man to change everything. Ethan Cole wasn't born lucky. Once a promising law student, life had ripped his dreams apart when his wife passed away, leaving him alone to raise his 6-year-old daughter, Lily. To keep her fed, he gave up his degree and took the only job he could find, a janitor at the city courthouse. Every night after mopping the marble floors, Ethan would pause by courtroom doors, listening to the lawyers argue and the judges rule. He'd whisper to himself the lines he once dreamed of saying. "Objection, Your Honor. The defense rests." But now, those dreams belonged to another life, one buried beneath exhaustion and bills. Lily was his world. She'd wait for him after school, drawing pictures of her dad as a superhero with a broom. And maybe, in her eyes, he was one. But Ethan only saw a man who'd fallen short. One morning, as he scrubbed the floor of courtroom 3B, he overheard something strange. The famous billionaire, Richard Hale, was on trial, accused of fraud and bribery. His lawyer, a sharp-tongued man named Carson Blake, was known for his arrogance. Ethan watched from the sidelines as Carson mocked the poor and defended the rich. But the case was falling apart. Evidence was stacking up. Hale looked broken, almost human. During lunch break, Hale wandered near Ethan, muttering, "I paid him millions, and he's already losing me the case." Ethan hesitated but couldn't help replying, "Maybe money can't buy the right words in court." Hale looked up, surprised. "You sound like a man who's been there." "I studied law," Ethan said quietly, returning to his mop. Before life had other plans. That night, Ethan stayed late again, replaying the trial in his head. He didn't know it yet, but fate was about to test him in a way no courtroom ever could. The next morning, chaos struck when Hale's case resumed. Carson Blake was nowhere to be found. He'd fled the city, leaving his client defenseless. The media went wild. Millionaire's lawyer vanishes mid-trial. The judge sighed heavily. "Mr. Hale, without counsel, we must postpone," but Hale interrupted, glancing toward the janitor who had once offered him truth without fear. "Your Honor, I have someone." The entire courtroom turned as Hale pointed. "Him." Ethan froze, mop still in hand. "Me?" "Yes. You know the law. You speak with honesty. That's more than I can say for my lawyer." The judge frowned. "Mr. Cole, are you even licensed?" Ethan hesitated. "No, Your Honor. I never finished. But, if you'll let me speak, I can at least help tell the truth." There was murmuring in the gallery. Some laughed. Others whispered in disbelief. But Hale nodded firmly. "I trust him." And somehow, against all odds, the judge agreed to a temporary recess. During the break, Ethan read through the case files, his hands trembling. Old instincts came rushing back, logic, arguments, and passion. When the trial resumed, he stood before the court, no suit, no tie, just a man driven by conviction. "Your Honor," he began, "this isn't about money. It's about mistakes and the courage to admit them." He spoke with raw honesty, explaining how Hale had been misled by partners who forged documents in his name. He didn't use fancy terms, he spoke like a father teaching right from wrong. Slowly, the courtroom changed. Even the jury leaned in when the prosecution tried to trap him. Ethan didn't flinch. "You're right," he said. "Mr. Hale should have known better. But don't we all fall when pride blinds us?" By the time he finished, the entire room was silent. The judge looked at him and for the first time that day, smiled faintly. "Mr. Cole, I've never seen such sincerity in this courtroom." The verdict came the next day. Hale was found not guilty of fraud, but guilty of negligence, given community service instead of prison. After the trial, reporters rushed Ethan, calling him the janitor lawyer. But he didn't care about fame. All he cared about was Lily, waiting outside with a drawing in her hand. It showed him in a courtroom, wearing a cape. She hugged him tight. "Daddy, did you win?" He smiled. We told the truth, sweetheart. That's the real win. And as they walked out into the sunlight, Hale approached, gratitude in his eyes. You didn't just save me, Ethan, you reminded me what integrity looks like. A month later, Hale funded Ethan's return to law school. Years passed, and one day, the name on the courtroom door read, Ethan Cole, attorney at law. But he never forgot where he started, the janitor who dared to stand up when everyone else had run away.